All right, ladies, so the demo today is just sort of a simple technique for how to create, in this particular instance, I've chosen to try and replicate a sort of like a night sky look, but really you could turn this into, like a rainbow or a sunset, or really anything that you want. It's just sort of like an ombre, faded color background with Distress Inks using a brayer. So again, I've made it to look sort of like a faux night sky. One is on white and one is sort of like on an off-white. I kind of like the look on the off-white, so that is what I'll be doing today. The very first time I tried to do it, I did it on a tag, but the reinforcement kept getting in the way. But I like this one because I splattered some white, the Dylusions ink spray on it after, and it kind of looks like falling snow almost. So I thought that was a really fun idea. Did you need? Okay. The colors that I chose to create this background that we will demo today are Tumbled Glass, which is the lightest. I'll start with the lightest and work my way up. Next was Broken China. Then we had Faded Jeans, Chipped Sapphire, and then Black Soot. Just at the top a very little bit, and then I did go around the edges with the Black Soot as well, just to kind of finish it off. But there is a little bit of Black Soot along the top with the brayer. So I like to start with my lightest color first, just that way I don't have to worry about cleaning off my brayer in between. If you started, with the dark one, by the time you got to the light, you'd have to wash your brayer to get that dark ink off before you could use the light. So I am starting with my Tumbled Glass, and I don't know how many of you have used brayers before, but they're a pretty straightforward tool. The only thing you have to keep in mind, they have these little prongs so you can sort of rest it on your workspace while you're not using it. So obviously when you're rolling, you want to make sure that is not the edge you have down, otherwise it's not going to give you a nice smooth roll. So you want those prongs sticking up. And we're just going to grab some ink out of our ink pad. This one looks like it might be kind of getting dry, but that's okay. And then you just start rolling it along your page. Now with each color, I did a few applications. Obviously, the more times you layer this, the darker the color will be. I won't make you sit here too long. For these ones, I did go over it quite a few times. You can see it's quite a full coverage. There's not a lot of white space, or in this particular instance, off-white space showing through. With two rolls, you can see there's still quite a bit of paper color showing through. So you would have to do, I want to say at least 4 or 5. To get a nice coverage. Once you're happy with that, then you just sort of set that ink off and move on to the next. So that was Tumbled Glass. Next I'm going to do Broken China. And now I'm just going to kind of move up. You can kind of see the faded piece ends right around here. So that's about where I'm going to put my next brayer. Sort of where it starts to fade off, and then with my second, third, fourth application, I'll just slowly creep it back this direction to try and blend the two layers together, and then I'll keep doing that with every color application. So I'll start where it sort of fades off with my first roll, and then I'll just slowly creep my way back, and that just helps blend the colors together. These two colors are quite similar, but Broken China is a darker color than Tumbled Glass. Then I just slowly make it all the way back. Every time that I do it, I do still stay sort of more off to the side, and then once I've gotten the bulk of the ink off, then I go back and go over the older color. So I don't want to take a fresh batch of the new color and just go straight over this color. I want to start off to the side and then work my way back. When I'm happy with that, I'll put that one aside. Next, I'm using Faded Jeans. don't know why my Faded Jeans kind of applies funny. I think it's just an old ink pad, but it gives, I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of like a blotchy application. I think my Faded Jeans is just like an old ink pad, but I think it's pretty. I really like different textures and sort of grungy, messy look. I'm far from a perfectionist when it comes to crafting, so that look does not bother me. And again, just sort of bringing it back, the bulk of it in its own color lane, and then just bringing a little bit of it back over the lighter colors to help blend them together. Sorry that this takes so long. Next, I will do Chipped Sapphire. Just about done the base of that. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. So that's sort of like a nice faded sort of background. I'm gonna put just a tiny little bit of black along the top to anchor it a little bit, and I'll ink the edges, and maybe we can splatter it with some white paint, and now I'll have a background for a Christmas card. Okay. So I'll just quickly show you the splatter in case maybe some of you haven't splattered with sprays before. So all that I do is I take the lid right off. I don't like, most of the time with sprays, unless I'm trying to get full coverage on a piece of chipboard or a tag or something like that, I don't really like the look of a spray like this just sprayed on. I don't know why, I just find it too bulky. So I like to shake it up, because this one with the white, the color settles. And then I unscrew it completely from the bottle, and I just like to take this and just flick it on. I just like that look better personally. You can do the same thing with a toothbrush and watered down paint. And then it just gives that sort of snow, it like looks like falling snow now. You could make that, I guess that could be stars too. Maybe that would be like a starry sky. But either way, that's a cute little background for a card. You could layer then a moose if you're Monica, or pretty trees like winter, any winter scene. A little snowman would look so cute on here. Lots of options. And then again, changing up the color palette, and then you could make it for a sunset. You could make a rainbow, whatever you wanted, but that technique is pretty versatile, very usable, and super simple, because you know me, all my techniques are simple. And